When life starts to go sideways, sometimes the best way forward is actually to go back. And our next guest is living testament to that. Back in his youth, Mackay man Kai Barber fell into the trap that a lot of young people do. Found himself going down a path he didn't want to be on. But he brought himself back by going back to basics, throwing himself into traditional hunting, fishing, and living off the land. Now, as a father of three, he's inspiring other young dads to do the same and to make sure that traditional indigenous knowledge is passed on to their next generation. He's also making waves on social media in the process, and Kai's with us this afternoon on ABC Radio. Kai Barber, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, mate. Thank you for having me.
You share a lot of videos of your hunting and fishing on YouTube and on social media under the channel Camp Misguided. What's this all about?
Yes, that's correct. Well, it's all in the name, you know. A lot of people may laugh at it to begin with, but when they hear the meaning behind it and they sort of jump on board afterwards. But yeah, it was because I was kind of on a bad track in my youth, coming up through all the bad ways, hanging around all the wrong people and sort of following down that the same road. But as I sort of got older, I've listened to a couple of my older uncles actually, and they said, "What you have to do, boy, is go away. You know, go away, escape what you're in at the moment and what you think that life is." And then my father was living up at Cape York at the time in a camp, also called Camp Misguided. That's sort of how it all came about. But at the same time, I was going through struggles as well. And then just living off the land, living off the basic life, it sort of brought me back, realising that there is more to life. And in the time I was also living with and working with the backpackers, hearing all of their stories and more about life and that there was more out there than what I thought at the time.
So the name Camp Misguided is actually a nod of the hat to where, was it a camp your dad was living in on Cape York called Camp Misguided?
Yes, that's correct. That's where it all started from. But it also meant so much to me with going down the misguided path myself.
Yeah, we know that's an easy path for young people, unfortunately, to go down. Not all of them can find their way back either, sadly. What's been your experience of how traditional hunting and fishing actually helped you reset your life?
Well, just going out on the land, just having that peace and quiet, all the city noise, all the noise from your friends at the time, and some of them are friends, but they're not thinking quite straight at the time too. So being out on land, being out back on country, doing what you used to do when you was really young, what your grandfather taught you, what your uncles taught you, what you learnt from your aunties, all of that, you get to that peace and quiet again, and then you can sort of look at what you were going through, and you're like, hey, that's not right, that's not correct. And then you sort of, when you get back off land, you're like, hey, I am going down the wrong path here, and you sort of get connected, and you're like, let's reconsider where I'm going to from here.
Hearing from Mackay man Kai Barber here. If I just went out on country and tried to throw a spear or wet a fishing line, I'm pretty hopeless. I wouldn't be able to feed myself, Kai. What was your baseline level of skill like when you actually went back to trialling these different methods of sustaining yourself?
Well, I actually stayed in the camp for 8 or 9 months. It was the tourist season up in Cape York, Punson Bay. So Johnny Mulholland, he was the man up there at the time. But I had a lot of the local people. The local people took me in because, I don't know, I just really connected to the Aboriginals of the land up there in Numapoon, where I sort of first went. And one of the older fellas there, Malakula and his wife, they sort of gave me like a ceremonial spear at the Stacia jetties at the wharf, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And then from there, I started off really bad, but by the end, I could hit a fish straight off the water, by just slinging it from the sand, and so I became really good. But it was such a beautiful way to receive my first handmade bamboo spear.
You're a father of three these days, and you've really set a new course for yourself. You've actually got a very loyal following of thousands of people online as well. Is it odd to think that so many people are finding value in the videos that you're just doing for love?
Yeah, mate, it actually shocks me because I'm just doing stuff that I sort of grew up doing, and I did see an interest in it, and I do have a lot of people sort of reach out and, you know, and say, oh, you're doing a good thing, from, you know, and a lot of the people I knew grew up with, and they were like, they sort of knew my upbringing as well. And so they were, yeah, so it's beautiful to see that the following is there and all the support and the community gets behind it.
Hearing here from Kai Barber from Mackay, how did you sort of think about passing on traditional knowledge to the next generation and how important that is? Kai, what's your thoughts on how you do that for the next generation? Because it may not be necessarily what worked for your generation.
Well, it wasn't. I just actually seen my kids laying around on the iPads all the time, and it was so hard to get them off it. And I thought, oh, well, they're on the screen, so the best way to connect to them is record videos and leave them something, because basically it's pretty much there to stay. And so it's something that they can always go to. And with the amount of time kids and that spend on their phones or iPads or YouTube on their TVs, you know, it's going to be something that will connect if they're watching and tuning into it.
There is an effort, I guess, to try and get more misguided youth to reset, and the state government's going to be setting up these reset camps around Queensland for kids that have been in trouble with the law, trying to ensure they don't become repeat offenders. Do you think there's anything to that, Kai, getting them away from the community, the people that they're around when they're doing the offending? Definitely.
If there's more camps around here, even if it goes inland into west, or even if it's a couple of weeks up Cape York, or it's going to do them some good. And from that, I reckon there should be like a certificate or a lot more of these camps, so they can all go around and experience the same thing I went through. Because I think that's, if you get them back out on country and they realise that they're going nowhere, you know, like, and there's heaps of other options out there for them, they may reconsider their path.
What's your hope for where you might take Camp Misguided over the coming months and years, Kai?
Well, my hope is to sort of, I've been thinking about YouTube lessons, so it can be it can go into schools. People can just play it instead of trying to get me into a session. They can play these online and use them in schools and for everyone else to see, to learn from, I guess.
Well, congratulations on what you've achieved so far, mate. It's been impressive to see you rise, and I'm sure more and more people are really enjoying what you're putting up online. So great work, Kai. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the call and everything else. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Kai Barber, who's definitely turned his life around and now hoping to inspire others to do the same, whilst also hoping to impart traditional knowledge, indigenous knowledge on the next generation. Kai from Mackay, and you can actually see more of his adventures if you search for Camp Misguided on YouTube or any of the other big social media websites. You'll find it handy there.